Good morning and welcome. This is the CS-Sensei Cybersecurity Mentorship Program. Please connect up with us on Facebook or email. You can also find us on YouTube, and it's happy to have you. It's good to have you all with us, and thanks everybody for joining us. So good morning and good morning. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. For those that don't yet know me, Mars, you're new. My name is Scotty. I am the founder and chief mentor of the CS-Sensei mentorship program. With me is Chris, who is also a mentor here. Chris and I have been doing this program since late 2019. So we've been doing this over 3.5 years. Every week we meet and try and help our mentees achieve your professional cybersecurity goals. So if it's something that you're in an IT career field and you're interested in moving into cybersecurity, we help with that. But if you are, like most of our mentees, have never even been in IT before, but you may have interest or aptitude, we help you to develop that as well. So I think you can see on the screen, I wanted to give a little bit of a discussion this morning about mentorship, what mentorship means to you. Does anybody have, okay, first of all, have you in your professional life or your personal life, have you had mentors before? And if you have, was there one that was particularly exceptional that you can share about? Any mentors you've had that you thought were really good for you? Anyone? Thoughts? Anybody?
Hey, Scotty, I can share I've had plenty of mentors just to get up to where I am, and had a pleasure of being a mentor myself, especially at the Department of Labor. Scotty, I'll stop my story and let the mentees talk, because David Umberger's trying to call me. So give me a moment, sorry.
Sure thing, sure thing. Anyone else, have you had mentors before? And if you haven't, that's fine. But I'm just asking you if you have had good mentorship relationships and how they helped you. Anyone? Okay, all right, fair enough. Mentors can occur anywhere in your life. They can be personal. It could be a family member. It could be like an uncle that just spent a lot of time with you, showing you how important things are, like ethics or values, or having an objective to work toward, or those sorts of things. A mentor could be professional. Chris was mentioning that he is in, or has been in, the mentorship program at the U.S. Department of Labor. Frequently, federal and especially federal workforces have mentorship programs where people who are senior within a particular career path mentor to those who are junior in that career path about how they can maximize themselves. So there's that, a professional mentorship relationship. I can remember one individual at the Department of Labor where I was working. She approached me and she said, I have been watching you. I know that you have lots of experience here. You seem to be successful in what you're doing here. And I was wondering, would you be interested in mentoring me? And I said, certainly, I would be happy to. And so we established a period of time where we would meet once a week up in the cafeteria over lunch. We would sit and have discussions about what was going on with her, how she was doing, how she was achieving things, challenges she had, shortcomings that she experienced, or, as is frequently the case with many of us, periods of time that seemed sort of dry, like where she seemed like she was stuck in a rut. Those sorts of things occur, and for some people, they can be discouraging. You can say, man, I've gone, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and I haven't done anything. Well, that's fine. The important thing is to recognize that you haven't done anything, which means you know what anything looks like. So that's something to think about. And that's what mentors can help pull out of you. A recognition that we're all fallible. We all have problems. We all have our shortcomings. But you know what? We can still work through them. We can still accomplish things even though we have those challenges and those issues or areas where we don't have great knowledge. Well, okay, but what about today? What can we do today? So that's just something for me to share. That was a great mentee that I've had. I've also had mentors that reach into my life and show an interest in what I'm doing, which I thought was absolutely superb. How is it that this person who is obviously more successful than me cares? Sometimes that's all that it takes for you to realize that people care about each other. I care about you, etc. And later on, you sort of feel grateful for that and then want to pass it on. I will say, probably without any reservation, anyone who is a great mentor has themselves had great mentors. It's just part of what a mentorship is. I learn to achieve, and therefore I help others achieve. So that's my observation on mentorship. So let's talk a little bit about this. I'm going to be using lots of quotes. I hope that you guys, understand some of these quotes. This is an old and very tried and true one. It says, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn." And it was from Benjamin Franklin, probably in his Poor Richard's Almanac, because that was one of his areas where he brought out, many little cute sayings that we still use here hundreds of years later. So the important thing here is that you're involved in your own success. And I think that's very, very helpful. So we're going to discuss mentors or trainees or coaches and why many people don't understand the difference. I'll give you one example for this program, this particular program. When I speak to mentees or prospective mentees or their family members or whatever, their perspective, their experience is trainers or coaches or that sort of thing. And when we talk mentorship, they say, well, how much does it cost? Or they say, when does it start and when does it end? Or, those sorts of things, which tend to help you understand they're thinking about classes. They're thinking about, a program of study after which you finish, you get a certificate that says, I finished this course of study, I passed my test or whatever, and I get this badge of honor in the form of a certificate that I can then move on and do more things with. Not quite the same thing for a mentor as compared to a trainee or a coach or trainer or a coach. So I'll talk a little bit about teachers or trainers. And this is all my observation. I didn't pull this off of a website. This is just my understanding of what I'm doing here, what my mentorship team is doing here, and what I believe you mentors are doing here, or mentees are doing here. So I say that a teacher focuses on a specific program or curriculum. If you are a math teacher, you focus on math. if you are a trainer for somebody in their chess group or whatever, you teach them how to play chess or those sorts of things. They're sort of a program or a area of learning that I am then charged to impart to a particular group of, in this case, students or trainees. So the teachers or trainers train the group the same thing. They basically have a group of things that they must get through, and then the next bullet, measure your achievement on learning those things so that they can, next bullet, give you a grade that ends up with you getting your certificate or passing a level in school or whatever, and then they go on to the next group. So that's why, and you know this, when you were in high school, you say, oh, yeah, I had this history teacher, or I had this math teacher, or I had this social studies teacher, or a biology teacher. For me, I remember my driver's ed teacher, Mr. Mays, and those sorts of things. The teachers are sort of focused on one thing in particular, and they learn to be really good at that and help people achieve at that particular thing. So that's what I think of when I think of a teacher or trainer. All right. Here's a good quote by Oprah Winfrey. A mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself. So let's talk about coaches. When you hear coach, you think of somebody, wearing gym shorts and dirty sneakers and a whistle around their neck, or at least I do. But again, they're focused on specific goals like tennis or swimming or chess or math. Whatever they are coaching you in, that's what you're there to learn from them. That's what you're there so that they can help you, next bullet, strive to meet a specific goal. When I think about coaches, I think about the Williams sisters. Their father was their coach. And he was himself a tennis professional, and he taught his girls from a young age to also be tops in the tennis field. Now, whether or not they were, Serena and Venus were good at school, maybe or maybe not. Whether they were good in civics, learning to work within their community or whatever, maybe or maybe not. Their father's main goal was to teach them to be perfect in tennis. Now, there were other life lessons they learned, obviously, as they were growing up. But tennis was the reason why their father was engaged as a coach. And I would say that coaches, more than many groups, coaches will help you discover your strengths. I can remember many times we would be out swimming laps in the swimming pool, and we'd say, Coach, I'm really tired. And he'd say, okay, well, do 10 more laps and you can get out. It's like, oh, man, okay, get back in and swim 10 more laps. Why? Because the coach told you to. And that's not what a mentor does. Mentors are not here to tell you to swim 10 more laps and suggest that if you don't, you're not going to be great at your next swim meet or whatever. Coaches want you to achieve, but if you fall short, coaches say, it's because you didn't swim those extra 10 laps every day or something like that. So coaches are sort of objective focused, and they are very tightly focused on what they're there to teach you. It's kind of rare, I would say, that you're in a situation where a coach will teach you life lessons unless you are actually engaged in what the coach thinks you should be doing. Any observations? Anybody have any thoughts so far about teachers, trainers, coaches? Any experiences, good ones or bad ones you've had? Feel free to share. Okay, fair enough. Let's go to the next one. This is from Bob Proctor, who says, a mentor is someone who sees more talent and ability within you than you see in yourself and helps bring it out of you. So think about that in reference to mentors. And again, this is my thought on mentors. I didn't go look this up on a website. Having had great mentors throughout the years and having mentored many people, this is what I think of when I think of mentors. The mentors, more than any other of the groups that we've spoken about, are interested in you as a person. In other words, when you are successful, I feel good. When you share about something that you've achieved, I help you celebrate that. So when you think about a mentor, we invest in you. We help you achieve. And when you do, we're as happy as you are. So that's what I think of when I think of a mentor. Also, we mentors, if you have been involved in this program for a while, you know that Chris and I aren't perfect. The other mentors, Tobias, Christopher, and Dolly, my wife, they all, we have our strengths, we have our weaknesses, but you know what? We've learned to be able to work and be successful in life regardless of our strengths or weaknesses. So we share that. We show you how you can get through discouragement, how you can get past a particular thing, how you can develop that mindset that will help you be successful 1 year, 2 years, 10 years down the road. And you can apply it throughout your life. So the next bullet, we help you recognize and achieve your own greatness. You don't try and be great like me. You don't try and be great like Chris. You don't try and be great like, somebody that, you've been mentored by, but you understand that they have qualities that you want to imitate, but you're never going to be them. To be a great trainer, usually it's somebody who's been to a particular level in that particular field, like tennis or swimming or racing or whatever. Somebody who has done it and who has run those laps, somebody who has done those repetitions in the gym, somebody who can help you understand how to achieve those things. Those are coaches, but a mentor is there because they're focused on you, not the goal. All right. And the last bullet here, I hope you all recognize this. We treat you all differently. If you have particular things to share, everyone's share is valuable. Even if it's, I don't have anything to share. Or even if it's, I tried this and I struck out, or those sorts of things. Great, good. It's, you may have heard this. And I've heard it used in many, many different circumstances, but there's something called paralysis by analysis. Sorry about all the big words, but paralysis by analysis is sort of like you get stuck in a particular area because you don't feel confident enough to move forward because you're concerned you might fail. And for many people, that holds them back. They're like, well, maybe I could have been good, but I was afraid that I was going to crash and burn. Well, okay, but by observing some of us mentors, you realize that crashing and burning is just part of the program sometimes. But that doesn't mean that you're over. That doesn't end it. I shared about being in the Pentagon and accidentally, as part of what I was doing, I was in too big of a hurry and I shut down the mail server for the entire office of the Secretary of Defense in the middle of the day on a weekday. Click, click, click. I want to log out, and guess what? Log out, and shut down. We're side by side on this remote control software, and I was in a hurry. Boom, shut down. You sure you want to do this? Sure. And I shut down the Secretary of Defense's mail system in the middle of the day in the Pentagon. And guess what? The server was way over on the other side of the Pentagon. So here's Scotty running through the hallways of the Pentagon. People were looking at me like I was crazy, but I had something to get done. I had to get into that data center, open up that rack, and push that power button before that server would come back online. My fault. I did it myself. So guess what? I'm teaching you not to make those same mistakes. Take your time. Learn to inspect things before you jump. You know, that's what mentors do. We show you our own frailties so that you realize that it's not a pass-fail. Life is not pass-fail. Chris, you have something to share?
So my fail story is I was in a desktop support role to start before I went over to my current role. And our ticket system is structured a certain way where certain groups do certain things. Well, I got brave and wanted to prove something. So our deputy chief tech, one of our deputy CIOs had his computer malfunction. And I saw the ticket sitting in our queue. And I said, okay, I'll take it on. Little to know that there's a system and a process in place. Lessons learned later on. So go ahead, try to fix it. Could not fix it for the life of me, could not fix it for the life of me on a second try, searching everything. And I just had to go to a colleague and go, hey, what do I do? And he just laid me down and go, yeah, that's technically a tier 3 role. You're not supposed to be touching that, and we have people for that. Go ahead and assign a ticket to so-and-so, and let's just get it done and get it over with. And did what that said, and that was my lesson learned. And I'm not going to be perfect all the time. And I'm always going to, the right attitude to be in a job or wherever your situation is to be in that learn mode and to always be learning, continuously be learning. And I'm encouraging mentees to write down things that happen in their life, write down their goals, and just write down what's happening just so they can have a view to review back to in order to realize what your next steps are in the end. So I typed up a whole little paragraph that said, hey, stay in your own lane, Chris, but at the same time, don't be afraid to learn and take those steps forward. And my lesson learned there is we had a group that deals with what we call VIPs, very important people that have that white glove knowledge that will, hey, let's put another computer in place while we take a look at and see what's going on and go from there. But the wrong attitude is, I quit, I give up. The right attitude is, I learn, I talk to people, even the most introverted person in the world who despises talking to people. But it's that learning factor to me. But we're not perfect.
What? For real? And again, that's something that mentors do. They show you their own humanity. They show you their own frailties so that you understand that life is not pass-fail. They're, school of hard knocks, fine. But, you can power your way through it. It takes an understanding that life is a continuum and your profession is a continuum. When I was in elementary school and junior high school, they said, what do you want to be? I said, well, I want to be an oceanographer. Why? Because I grew up in Southern California near the ocean. So I thought, that's kind of cool. I never got to be an oceanographer, but I had a goal. But also at the same time, and this is just, I'm sharing my own shortcomings. At the same time, I got SAT scores that were high enough for me to qualify for Mensa. In other words, I was in the top 1% in the nation in part of my SAT scores. In math, in fact. I had, supposedly wonderful aptitude, but I didn't have the right application, because at the same time I got this Mensa genius level SAT math score, I was failing algebra for the second year in a row. I was retaking algebra and still wasn't doing well at it because I didn't have the right application for that aptitude to turn it into an actual grade. And so that's what you learn from mentors. We share about ourselves so that you understand that you too can be an achievement. You can get places that you never thought about before, and you can see that it's not 100% or 0%. Life is full of in between 0 and 100. That's where life exists. And if you see anybody that you think is absolute perfection, I would challenge you to realize that you're missing parts of them. You may idolize somebody and say, this particular person was perfect. But, what about their personal life? What about their driving record? What about, if they had a eating problem or whatever? You just don't know that. What if they developed a physical ailment? I remember years and years and years ago, I had a skin condition that would, make my fingers get like scars on them, and I wasn't doing anything, but I felt real self-conscious about it, because when I showed it to people, they'd be like, wow, what happened? I don't know. It just grows that way on me. But now my skin's fine. You learn to get through your situations because you see your mentor who has gotten through situations. And that's why we share about ourselves. I don't share because I like sharing. I share because I know it's my responsibility to show you that you can be successful regardless of what you're going through right now. Because I have, and Chris has, and Christopher, and Tobias, and Dolly. They've all had their challenges, and they're still doing wonderfully here in the career field. So, any thoughts or ideas on this before I move to the next slide? I'm almost done, folks. Anybody have anything to share? Y'all are quiet. Okay, well, let me go to the next slide then. Okay, so here's a good quote from John C. Maxwell. The people closest to me determine my level of success or failure. The better they are, the better I am. And if I want to go to the highest levels, I can do it only with the help of other people. We have to take each other higher. And a lot of you may not realize this, but Chris and I grow when we are mentors. It's not just sharing, information that I've learned. I get perspective when I share about this as well, because you, as the mentees, help me remember the things that I was working on, and oh yeah, maybe I should restart that or whatever. So mentors learn as much as mentees do. And when you have your particular achievements, accomplishments, even if they're small ones, we're here to help you celebrate it. I'll give another example that I think is helpful here. You guys all should know, if you're on our Facebook page, we have homework assignments. And the homework assignments are designed to help you focus your mind during the times when you're not doing Facebook or email or whatever, or attending a cybersecurity class, Security Plus, or anything like that, the CC coming out from ISC Squared. If you're not doing that, what about when you're at a restaurant? What about when you're at church? What about when you are, doing things in your life? You're walking around the house and you suddenly say, I haven't patched that iPad and it's powered off. Maybe I need to do something like that soon so that it's not vulnerable. How did you achieve that? You've been in these mentorship programs, you've learned, and then you apply that learning even in your daily life. So you learn and then you apply. So in the mentorship program, we help people accomplish that through learning and application. It may not be perfect, but we help you move forward. And like John Maxwell says here, great mentees become mentors themselves. There's a story, and this is why I used the name Sensei in this group. If any of you have ever been in martial arts, you hear Sensei a lot. Yes, Sensei. Thank you, Sensei, or whatever. The implication is that the Sensei is the master of something, whatever it is, the technique or the class or those sorts of things. But that's not exactly the case. Sensei is a 2-character word in kanji, which is Southeast Asian. In kanji, it's 2 characters. The first character means person, and the second character means before. It has nothing to do with mastery. It has to do with someone who has gone before you and therefore can help you understand what you're about to get into. So a sensei has to be somebody who has achieved, let's say, that black belt, so that they can teach you to achieve the black belt. So sensei literally means one who has gone before, or somebody who is older in life. So the implication to that is we can all teach each other. I can learn from you, even though I have been further on in my career, 33 years now in the IT and services, security services industry. Makes no difference. I still learn, and I learn sometimes from my mentees. So we can all learn. We can all take some of this and apply it each and every day. I really want to encourage each one of you to feel comfortable about coming in and sharing, even if your share isn't a happy share. I've been unable to do these things because my mom's been sick. Okay, well, that's fine. Get through it, and just remember that this is not a situation that's going to make you stay on the sidelines the rest of your life. Get back in the game. You might think about this while you have time. Maybe you can read these things, those sorts of things. That's what mentors are good at, helping you see past your obstacles, helping you see past your roadblocks, helping you understand that your shortcomings could be something that you can work your way through. And that's what I think of when I think of, excellent mentors. Here's a great thing to think about. Mentors show and encourage. The mentees are the ones that achieve. And if you're in a proper mentorship program, that's what will happen. The achievements will come from the mentees. I was gonna say, if you accomplish something, share it. If you didn't accomplish something, share it. If you feel stymied or feel confused or feel lost, share it. We don't know if you are actively engaging if you show up at this program and never unmute your mic. You're attending, yes. You could be listening, yes. You could be learning, yes. But you could also be off, feeding your kids or doing the laundry or whatever. You could be confused about some of the things that Chris and I are sharing about. Okay, turn on the microphone and say, excuse me, what about this? That helps you recognize that you have a part to play in the mentorship program. It's not just come and listen. And I say this many, many times. Chris, you've heard me say this. This is not the Scotty and Chris show where you dial in and watch Scotty and Chris make fun of, each other and say, this and this and this and this and this, be good and sign off. That's not what it's about. Chris, go ahead.
I want to ask the mentees and everyone in this group more as a kind of what's going on with the topics of cybersecurity or where you are in your journey. What did you do this week? Is there anything you've done? What steps have you taken to get to your goals? Have you written down goals? That would be my question to you all. And go ahead and unmute your mic and let us know. That would be my first question out of my head as a mentor. How was your week this week?
Well, I'm going to tell you, Scotty got me going to the FTC and reporting all these spam emails. My spam emails increased. Now I'm thinking just about closing that email address for I don't know how many weeks I can to just make these spam messages stop. I mean, can I reclaim that same address after a certain time? That's my question. I think it's easier just to stop and for them to get the non-delivery notice, and that's it. So to just delete me. But yeah, I don't know what to do. And it's happening not just in one email account. It's happening in a second email account that they tell me has been found on the dark web. So I'm at a loss. So I don't know what to do. So there you are. It's a failure. I failed. I mean, I did like 66 in one day. I just sat there on a Saturday when I had other things to do, and it's like, nope, they're not stopping. They're just increasing. Hundreds now, not just 60. But yeah, I'm just deleting them now. I'm not even opening them because that's the indication of some of these things that they know you opened them.
It's kind of like sending an email, if I were the attacker, and putting on, hey, let me know when the person got it. And Outlook has this feature where you say, hey, notify me when the receiver opens the email or has received the email. That's kind of the most basic way I can think about that. And Scotty, this may be a plug for our IR group of, hey, if you have those emails, just forward them on to our IR team, and we'll put them into our Federal Trade Commission group. And that's an option there.
Well, I'm ready to do that because, it's either that or close the email.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Right. The point of the Federal Trade, thank you for sharing that, Rita. The point of the Federal Trade Commission website is to put people in jail. And so the ultimate goal is to make these people stop through disincentives, if you will. But I would encourage you, at the very least, if you decide that you don't want to report it to the FTC, that's your prerogative. If you decide that you don't want to forward it to the incident response team mailing address so that we can report it on your behalf, okay. There's a thought on this, and it occurred to me that, and I watched a number of people do this. I'm going to use my phone as an example. If you get a particular text from, let's say, somebody that claims they're Chase or Bank of America or whatever, frequently those things have links, and I watched somebody do this, and they click on the link and they say, I don't want that, and then they go to the next one and they click on the link and they say, I don't want that. Spammers and phishing, in general, they tend to share email addresses or phone numbers. And if you click on a link that they have sent you, you become not just a phone number, but you become a verified phone number. And that is literally worth more when they sell your number to their buddies. So the same thing with email addresses. At the bottom of these phishing emails, there's a little link that says, you know, click here to unsubscribe, but it doesn't unsubscribe you. It validates you as being a valid customer, and therefore they'll sell your email address to their 20 buddies. So one thing I would urge you caution on and I've seen this in all of my web-based emails, Gmail, Yahoo, up at the top, even on the spam messages that I get, there's this cute little link that says unsubscribe. That link sends an email back to the mail server and says unsubscribe. For valid emails, it would work. Like if you get something from I don't know, JCPenney that you didn't want, and you click unsubscribe, then JCPenney's mail server is supposed to be able to stop you, from getting these messages. But the scammers and spammers, all they do is they say, this validates that you are a real person and therefore more likely to be the subject of the spam or the scam. So there's an unsubscribe link at the top. That goes back to the originating mail server. Be careful of those because, again, if it goes back to the spammer, then they're going to sell your address to others. However, at the top, if you choose not to report it, if you choose not to, send it to us so we can report it, there's one at the top of your mailer that says report as spam. That goes to the local mail system. If you're on Gmail, it'll go to Google. If you're on Yahoo, it'll go to Yahoo. If you're on Outlook, it'll go to Microsoft, etc. And it will just go to that local system and flag that particular sender address as a source of spam.
Is that under more? In Gmail, is that under more?
No, it should be right along the top. There's a group of icons. One says delete. One says it looks like a little stop sign with an exclamation point in the center of it. It says mark as spam. If you don't do anything else, you can mark as spam, and that will alert your local mail system there for your email address that is an email address not to be trusted, the originator's email. So I would encourage you to, at the very least, do that instead of just deleting. That may accomplish a reduction in your spam emails that you're getting, Rita.
Yeah, I can't see it on the iPad. I have to get on the desktop to find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do.
I'll look for it.
All right. I believe it's. Oh, also, when you're looking on it, if you're using the Gmail app, it may look different than if you're using Gmail on your web browser. I use my web browser probably more than anything else, so it shows on my web browser, all the time. So that may be, the app on your Apple product may not have that, and it may be under more. I don't know.
Well, I have both. I have a Windows and I have a Mac. So for
okay.
desktop, so I'll look for it. Yeah,
all right.
Thanks.
Hey, Scotty,
anyway.
Can I share something else?
Absolutely.
Good morning. Good morning, Scotty. Good morning, Chris, and everyone in the group. Actually, for filtering and blocking addresses in Gmail, you can go under the settings and then go to the filters and blocked addresses, and you can block the addresses what you don't want on upcoming addresses. If you want, I can share the screen so you can find it.
Sure.
Give me a sec. I'll show on my laptop. So it's on settings and the filters, and you can create the filters that you want.
And that blocks specific addresses that you have received these emails from?
That's correct. You can put the addresses and create the new filters and blocking them to get, or if you did accidentally, then you can unlock them as well.
Very good. Thank you. And that's on Gmail?
That's correct, yes.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Thank you. I have never used filters, so
thank you.
I'm learning too.
Well, I've been reporting that FTC, and as Rita mentioned, that it's been upcoming a lot, and I start filtering them and blocking them in the filter.
Very good. So you take the full court approach. You report it, and you block it, and you filter it.
That's correct.
Yeah, very good. So just so everybody knows, Gulru has, she is the top reporter in this mentorship program for the Federal Trade Commission. Based on the log entries I've seen, she reports even more spam and phishing than I do. So congratulations on that. You're doing wonderfully, and the good news is you'll be able to put in your resume that you have experience as a cybersecurity incident response analyst, because these are real incidents. That's what a lot of people don't think about. If you go in and any of your training, I'm using the Security Plus study guide. If you're looking in there, look under the definition of an incident, and one of the definitions includes someone sends you spam or phishing email. So it's a real incident. This is not a fake exercise. Somebody sets something up and says, try figuring this out. No, this is real life. And so by doing this, you can report that you have actually been engaged in incident response activity. As an analyst, you may not get paid for it, but you can put it down as experience on your resume. For this period of time, I was an incident response analyst reporting information to the Federal Trade Commission's Consumer Sentinel database that is accessed by 2,800 law enforcement activities nationwide for the purposes of fighting fraud and ID theft. That's a pretty good thing to put in your resume if you're looking for a new job. It may be just what's needed to differentiate you from 100 other applicants who say, I got my degree or I got my certification, hire me. Well, you say, I may be working on those things, but I'm working day to day trying to help make the world a better place by reporting these spammers and scammers so that they get caught and they get prosecuted and they get put in jail. I realize the chances of it are small, but they're not zero. The Federal Trade Commission, receives something like 4 million reports each year on that system. And law enforcement nationwide, whether you're a local police department or a sheriff's department or the FBI or the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, whatever, they have the ability to go in and look at this and say, who in my area is spamming? Who in my area is subjected to or being victimized by spammers? And that helps them to form cases that will help put people in jail. So I'm happy to do it. My sister sends me all of her spam now. Actually, she sends it to the incident response team mailing list, which right now I'm the only one doing that, but she sends it to the incident response team. Oh, look, I got another thing from Geek Squad. I got another thing from PayPal, or, and she's happy to share. So just hopefully we can discourage these criminals enough and earn experience that we can report on our resumes to make it worthwhile. Anyone else have anything to share? Anyone?
I've been, since I've done with my certificates and passed all the exams, and now I'm working right now on studying on Network Plus. And I thought going a little deeper with networks, not for passing certificates, just for own knowledge. I thought it's going to be a good experience and good knowledge, so I've been working whole week on Network Plus.
Very cool. Are you going to use it once you have, finished it? How do you think it will help you?
Well, I think it's a little deep diving about portals and get more information for my own future use for whenever I'm going to land the job. I'm thinking, when I was choosing the certificates, I didn't want to go deep diving with network because I thought it's too much for me. But now I'm seeing the gaps in my knowledge myself, and I'm thinking that if I'm going to have that knowledge, but not for passing exam, just for getting knowledge, I was going to Professor Messer's videos on YouTube and learning with couple books and going a little bit deep diving.
Very good. Gulru mentioned a wonderful YouTube channel. Everything's available for free. It's called Professor Messer, M-E-S-S-E-R, Professor Messer. And he has hundreds, thousands of videos out there that help you to achieve your IT and cybersecurity goals. The entire Security Plus curriculum is out there. I think it's something like 71 videos that he does that if you study along with him, oh, and by the way, he does live study sessions as well. So, you want to start looking at the things that he's shared about, but also engage in the study sessions. He offers them for free. Very good. Thank you, Gulru.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay. The last slide, I think this is the last slide. This is what I pledge to you that our mentorship team is here to help you do. First of all, enjoy this cybersecurity curriculum. I will say that people who join a particular career field, let's say cybersecurity, because I'm good at it, end up reaching periods of time where they get subject to what I call burnout. They reach a period where there is so much going on that they lose their ability to master it all at once. And I've seen many, many people who go into IT and cybersecurity because I'm good at it, and they seem to be frustrated. They sometimes I watched one particular person that I had great respect for, and he was really good at what he did. I mean, I used to go, listen to him and ask him questions and that sort of thing about cybersecurity from a security operations center standpoint, from a SOC. And I thought, this guy's great. This guy's wonderful. He's got a great attitude. But then one day he wasn't there. He was gone. And I said, to the manager, I said, where did he go? She said, he just quit. He just didn't show up one day for work. And this guy was responsible for about 12 people on the team. And he was just gone. He got so frustrated that he just said, phooey, go, direct traffic or drive a bus or whatever he chose to do. he was just so frustrated, he walked away from his job. It was a great job. It was a high-paying job. He was responsible for a whole team of people in a security operations center. And by the way, he was responsible for making that SOC operate optimally so that the people they supported were safe. And then he just left right in the middle of it. So be careful about having that attitude that says, you know, I'm really good, I can handle anything that gets thrown my way, because life's going to throw you things that are going to challenge you. So just be prepared for it. Be prepared to work your way through it and not get stuck like this guy did. I'm not going to share his name because, you know, some people may know him, but, you know, I used to look at him and say, wow, this guy's got it all going on. And then he was gone. So we're here to help you enjoy cybersecurity. Enjoy it. Have fun with this. Make it something that you go home at the end of the day and say, yeah, I helped. That's a great feeling to have. The next bullet, we will help you develop and work toward your goals. Then the next one, maximize your potential, minimize your challenges. And then the last one is, oh yeah, stay focused. It was off the edge of my screen. Stay focused. We'll help you realize that there is a tomorrow. There is always more to learn. There's always more that we can do, but that doesn't discourage us. We're always going to have problems, okay, but that doesn't discourage us. Why? Because we've learned that we can get through this and be effective to the level we're able at every point in the game. I encourage you all to spend a little time going out and looking for this website, 5 Best Resources for Mentees. I think it's helpful. And if you have any other questions or anything about it, let us know. Chris, did you have anything?
I'll put in the links for Professor Messer in an email just to follow up.
Can you put that last link? I'm trying to copy it down and then it disappeared.
Yeah, I would recommend you just go on and Google it, because I don't.
Is it?
5 Best Resources for Mentees.
Okay.
Here, let me see if I can get it out there on the chat.
5.
There it is. mentorcloud.com. Anyone else? This has been a great session. We've had lots of people here, and I really appreciate you all taking the time. Please feel free to share, you know, whenever. Again, this is not come and watch Scotty and Chris, you know, make sock puppets or something. We're all in this together, and we can all learn from each other.
Do not be afraid to connect with us on LinkedIn or join the Facebook group. Thank you, Mars, for asking what that group was. I put the address in the thing. I'll also put in the follow-up mail.
Yeah. I am what's known as an early adopter in LinkedIn. My profile name is literally Scotty Ward. So thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful Saturday and a better weekend.
Thank you. You too. Have a good weekend too.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Scotty. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Twyla.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. You have a good weekend.